like you. Be strong to hold the powers of the sun. To dream, believe in strength. Now I'm the only one.
Hello everyone, welcome back to Dior Pop. Have you ever witnessed a moment so brief, yet it feels like it carries thousands of unspoken emotions within it? A moment that isn't planned, isn't scripted, but precisely because of that, it feels incredibly real. That's exactly what many ARMY felt when they saw that one unforgettable scene, when Jungkook hugged Jimin during a concert. On a grand stage filled with dazzling lights, roaring cheers, and perfectly synchronized performances, BTS are known for their professionalism, charisma, and undeniable chemistry. Every movement is usually calculated, every transition polished to perfection. But sometimes, it's the smallest, most unexpected gestures that reveal the deepest truths. And that hug was one of those moments. At first, nothing seemed unusual. The concert was flowing as it always does, full of energy, laughter, and heartfelt interactions with fans. Jimin was captivating as ever, his movements graceful, his expressions soft yet powerful. Jungkook, on the other hand, radiated boundless energy, his presence commanding yet effortlessly natural. Then, something shifted. In the middle of a transition between songs, as the lights dimmed slightly and the atmosphere turned more intimate, Jungkook slowly moved closer to Jimin. There was no dramatic cue, no exaggerated gesture. Just a simple step forward, so natural it almost went unnoticed. And then, it happened. The hug. It may have only lasted a few seconds, but for those watching, time seemed to pause. What made this moment so powerful wasn't just the physical act itself, but what followed after. Jimin appeared slightly surprised at first. His eyes widened for a brief second before softening. Then came a small smile. Not a stage smile meant for the audience, but something quieter, warmer, something real. Jungkook's reaction, however, was even more telling. After wrapping his arms around Jimin, he didn't immediately pull away. There was a subtle pause, as if he wanted the moment to fully settle. His gaze was gentle, filled with something difficult to put into words, a mix of comfort, warmth, and perhaps something deeper. Fans immediately exploded with emotion. Social media was flooded with clips, screenshots, and countless interpretations. Many pointed out that this hug felt different from their usual on-stage interactions. There was an emotional depth to it that was impossible to ignore. But what truly stood out was how unscripted it felt. In an industry where almost everything is planned, especially on a stage of that scale, this moment felt spontaneous, genuine, like something that happened not because it was expected, but because it was felt. Some fans even noticed the smallest details, the way Jungkook held Jimin not too tight, but enough to convey warmth. The way Jimin leaned in even if just for a second. And most importantly, the way they looked at each other afterward. That gaze didn't feel like something shared between just bandmates. There was comfort in it, understanding, a silent conversation without words. For a brief moment, it felt like they existed in their own world, even with thousands of people surrounding them. This moment sparked deeper conversations about their bond. Many fans have long believed that Jimin and Jungkook share a uniquely strong connection. From their trainee days, growing up together under immense pressure, to standing side by side on the global stage, they've experienced it all together. And perhaps, that hug was a reflection of that journey. It's not about labels. It's not about forcing meaning into something beyond what it is. It's about recognizing a genuine human connection, something built on time, trust, and shared experiences. What made it even more touching was the contrast. In the middle of a high-energy concert filled with powerful performances and loud cheers, this moment felt quiet, personal, almost fragile, as if, for just a second, everything else faded away. And maybe that's where its beauty lies. Because beyond the lights, the music, and the global fame, they are still human. They feel exhaustion, pressure, joy, and comfort, just like anyone else. That hug might have been simple, but it could have been a silent way of saying, "I'm here." For Jimin, It might have been a reminder that he's not alone on that massive stage. For Jungkook, perhaps it was a way to express something words couldn't fully capture. And for ARMY, it became a moment to treasure. Because sometimes, true intimacy isn't found in grand gestures. It lives in the smallest actions. A brief hug in the middle of a concert that quietly reveals something deep, sincere, and meaningful. As time goes on, there will be bigger moments, louder headlines, and more viral clips. But moments like this hold a special place in fans' hearts. Because they're not just seen, they're felt. And every time we watch that clip again, we might feel the same warmth we did the first time. Something soft, something real, something that lingers. So, was that hug just a simple interaction? Or was there something more behind it? The answer may be different for everyone. But one thing is certain, that moment showed the world that beyond the perfection and spotlight, there exists something genuine. A connection shaped by years, strengthened by trust, and expressed in the simplest, most honest way. And that's what makes Jikook so unforgettable. Purple Heart. In the end, not every meaningful moment needs words to explain it. Sometimes, the most powerful emotions are expressed in silence, in a glance, in a pause, or in a simple hug that lasts only seconds but stays in our hearts much longer. What Jungkook and Jimin showed on that stage wasn't something grand or overly dramatic. It was quiet, natural, and deeply human. And maybe that's exactly why it touched so many people. Because in a world full of performances, perfection, and expectations, moments like this remind us of something real. A connection that doesn't need to be proven. A bond that doesn't need to be labeled. Just something felt. And perhaps, that's the true beauty of Jikook, not just in what we see, but in what we feel, even long after the moment has passed. So as we replay that hug over and over again, one thing becomes clear. Some moments aren't meant to be explained. They're simply meant to be remembered. Purple Heart. And that brings us to the end of today's story on Pop. Moments like this remind us why we keep watching, why we keep feeling, and why these small, unspoken interactions mean so much more than words ever could. It's not just about what happens on stage, it's about the emotions that quietly unfold in between. If you felt the same warmth from that moment, don't forget to like, share, and let us know your thoughts in the comments. What did you feel when you saw that hug? Thank you for being here, for feeling with us, and for seeing the beauty in these little moments. See you in the next story on Pop. Purple Heart.